A lot of us as neurodivergents internalize this societal expectation that our lives, our careers, should be relatively linear. We should be able to pick a career, move forward, and advance and build successively on what we've already accomplished, rather than veering off and doing something completely different, rather than pivoting and changing our career track or doing something completely different with our lives. Now, I've spoken in other videos about this, but I want to reiterate it. This could be for a variety of reasons, but they're not illegitimate. Yes, we can be impulsive, for example, and on the spur of the moment want to try something new. And actually that can be a source of great inspiration and wonderful change in moderation. And if it's accompanied by an adequate amount of reflection and depth of introspection about whether this is actually going to advance your interests and serve you in the long run, right? As long as it's accompanied with that kind of reflective piece, then it might not necessarily be a bad thing. It might also be because we're dopamine farming, we're seeking a new source of stimulation. And maybe legitimately we've got to the end of the lifespan of a specific interest or career or whatever it is, and we've decided to move forward and try something different. Yes, this comes with certain costs in terms of you lose the investment that you've put into the certain career path that you've chosen, for example, so that requires money and time and energy, and then you've done all that and then you've moved away. And often to get a better career or to get, let's say, higher pay, you want to specialize and hone in on a specific thing and get a breadth and depth of experience. It looks great on your CV and makes you a lot more employable and can get you that nice pay bump, for example. And if you pivot and you change, you might be a jack of all trades, you might be skilled, your skills might be a mile wide but an inch deep, and then you're kind of shut out of the possibility of getting specialization and therefore the benefits that come with it. At the same time, if you don't choose to be linear, if you choose to zig and zag and try different things, you might be multi-skilled as a result, multi-experienced. You have a variety of experiences to inform your practice, and it can give you an eclectic perception or understanding or view of the world and how you approach certain things, and can actually enrich what you do moving forward. For example, I started as a filmmaker and a journalist before I became a therapist, and now I use those skills that I developed working in those previous career paths to storytell, to show up on camera like I'm doing right now, to talk passionately about things, to hone my voice when I'm publicly speaking or expressing myself on avenues like this, on social media. So it's helped me a lot as a professional, and it gave me a leg up. Do I wish to some extent I'd specialized earlier in this career path? And would it have benefited me monetarily and career-wise? Sure, but I wouldn't take it back, because as a result, I think I've come at this career in a very unique way, and it's advanced me in unexpected approaches that I never would have perceived or considered had I not had that background to inform and enrich my experience and my approach. And it's also okay, I think, even regardless of your neurotype, because this is something that even neurotypicals do. Sometimes, you get bored with a career and you're ready to try something new, and that's just normal. I think that the challenge is that a lot of us do it at this accelerated rate. We cycle through things a lot faster than, let's say, many neurotypicals will. So from the outside, people can perceive this lack of linearity as, for example, you're not as focused, or you are scatterbrained, or you've got low commitment, or you're not serious about your career, or you're just being childishly impulsive and just chasing an interest because you just want to chase an interest and you have a short attention span. And both can be true. And if you're a neurodivergent and you have, for example, ADHD and executive dysfunction and a short attention span, and you need to dopamine farm because a lot of us struggle with dopaminergic dysfunction or dysregulation, that might be a legitimate reason driving this lack of linearity in your career or your life, whatever it is. And at the same time, you might be acting in service of that, and yes, it could be self-sabotaging, but it might not necessarily be a bad thing. It could also be opening the doors to new experiences, and it could be, like I said, broadening your horizons career-wise, giving you new experiences and enriching your approach. Have you struggled with these internalized perceptions about having to be linear and how you move forward in your life? And then do you self-criticize? Have you internalized other people's statements and judgments about what it means to be a well-balanced individual, or to approach your career in a conscientious and responsible way? And then do you sometimes self-criticize because you're repeating these criticisms that other people have made about this nonlinear approach? Have you been able to break free? Have you been able to recognize and embrace the strengths of this nonlinear approach? Or have you felt really frustrated with the fact that you cycle through different interests or career paths and that you can't stick to one thing? I don't think everybody agrees on this, and I think everybody sees as much the strengths as the challenges. I would love to hear from you. Tell me all about where you sit on that spectrum and how has it shown up in your life.